This call was made at a forum hosted by the Andean Development Corporation CAF Development Bank of Latin America on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly UNGA to highlight food security in Latin America and the Caribbean and to discuss challenges, strategies and urgent action.
The situation has been deteriorating over the last 5 years with an increase of 13.2 million undernourished people. Over the last 5 years alone, in Latin America and the Caribbean, this has a direct impact on educational outcome and health outcomes. The issue of food security is interrelated to educational output. You have to understand this.
Ali highlighted that by 2030, it is foreseeable that hunger is likely to affect 67 million people in the region, a figure that does not take into account the repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the head of state.
2030, hunger will affect 67 million people in the region, a figure that does not take into account the repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic.
With these baffling statistics, the president explained that if this trend continues, it will be impossible to achieve targets set out in the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, goal to eliminate hunger by 2030. The head of state posited that national protection systems must be expanded, protecting the most vulnerable, maintaining food to supply markets, maintaining investment in food production and farming, and investing in green, resilient, and inclusive food systems. As of March 2022, food inflation across 20 countries in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean increased by 10.2%. The head of state underscored his government's methodology locally and regionally of reducing food imports by 25% by 2025 through investments in technology, research and development, removal of trade barriers, institutional strengthening, and expanding access to agricultural lands. On this note, the head of state urged governments across the region to collaborate and devise appropriate and urgent measures in shielding the most vulnerable from increasing food prices due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine fiasco.
And strategic actions to ensure the food supply is strengthened and maintained in the coming years. The vulnerabilities and uncertainties in the region's food system must be fixed to make them more inclusive and sustainable, ensuring that the delivery targets the well-being for the people and feed our societies.
President Irfaan Ali and the government delegation are currently in New York at the ongoing 77th UNGA meeting. Antonio Dey reporting for the AGP Multi News.